everybody, welcome back to reviewing every single WrestleMania main event in history. Today we are on episode 26, reviewing WrestleMania 26, where we saw HBK, Shawn Michaels, take on the dead man, the Undertaker. Obviously a rematch from the prior year's WrestleMania in a very classic, guaranteed top 3 WrestleMania match of all time. And they thought, that was a really good match. Let's run it back. I don't know much about this match other than the winner, as I've never seen the match before, so I'll be giving you my very raw reactions after I've seen just got finished watching the match, and this match is really good. These two have a lot of chemistry together. Obviously happened at 25, and 26 is no different. A great match. Great. That is all I need to say. Just great. So there's a lot of preamble to this one. Shawn Michaels' career is on the line for this match, as he was desperate since he lost at the prior year's WrestleMania to have another match. And Undertaker finally agreed on one condition. Shawn's career had to be on the line. So this is a streak versus career match, which also means that there are no disqualifications and no countouts. So Shawn enters first to a decent pop, and this Mania is taking place only a couple of miles from Shawn's actual hometown of Chandler, Arizona, as this one is in Phoenix. He's obviously billed from San Antonio, but his real hometown is in the home of pretty cheap iced tea. Undertaker follows, rising up from the ground, which is a pretty cool one. This is not the one where the hands are reaching out. I think that's a couple years later, but it looks similar to that. The match begins after Taker makes it to the ring, and Taker charges straight at Shawn. Taker generally works like a pretty slow, boom, boom, boom. And he's, whoosh, and goes for a strike in the corner, but Shawn is able to move out of the way. They alternate control for a while, but undertakes it pretty definitively. Within the first few moments of the match, Undertaker hits 2 of his signature moves, Snake Eyes, which is where he picks you up on your shoulder in that running power slam position, and then drops you straight onto the top turnbuckle, head first. He also is able to hit his old school, where he grabs your arm, goes to the top rope, and jumps down. Don't really know what that's supposed to do, but sure. And he also goes for both the chokeslam and the tombstone, but Shawn's able to escape. Why this match is going so quick, I don't really know. Maybe these two just really hate each other. They're trying to show that with all these quick, big moves. But nonetheless, HBK goes for Sweet Chin Music, but Taker is able to block it, push it down, and they stare at each other. And they do what they did at the beginning of the match. I didn't mention it, but they stared at each other for a second. Undertaker ran in, and now they stared at each other for a second, but then they just brawl a little bit more. Undertaker throws Shawn outside of the ring, but Big Evil taunts I'm going to go over the top rope. But Shawn sees this as Undertaker's going the other way, slides in, and attacks while Taker's looking away from him. So this match, so far, pretty normal. A lot of big moves coming out. And then Taker's been working his injured knee. At some point, I believe during Old School, he jumps down from the top rope and lands slightly awkward on his leg, which I think it's work. I don't think it's shoot, because that's what they work over for the whole match. So that makes the most sense. But he's still able to hit his, apron leg drop that he does. 3 signature Taker moves already. It's quite a bit. So Taker, it does hurt him a little bit. So he has to kind of stand dazed outside the ring, ooh, man, that one was painful. And he tries to go into the ring to keep attacking, but he doesn't do it quick enough. So Shawn's able to quickly lock in a figure 4. Undertaker is able to reverse the pressure, so Shawn releases the hold, and both men recover. Taker starts to stand, and, Taker's stumbling, he's by the ropes. Shawn kips up the other direction, and by the time he's able to turn around, Taker's got his hand up, choke slam to Shawn. We are getting through so many huge moves so quickly. It gets a very close 2. Taker's a little bit surprised, but he's like, okay, you know what? That's not surprising. Shawn's a pretty resilient dude. He goes for the tombstone pretty quick. Gets him up for the tombstone. Shawn's able to roll through, and get him into an ankle lock, which he works for about a minute or so. Taker is barely able to escape that. He's able to kind of wriggle out, and Taker kind of stumbles. He's next to the ropes as he's able to escape. Shawn gets up, clotheslines him outside the ring. It's Shawn Michaels. I wonder what he's going to do when his opponent's outside the ring. HBK tries his obviously patented moonsault from the apron, but just like the prior year at the end of the match, Taker catches him, gets him ready, and not just in the ring, but on the outside, right next to cement, tombstone pile driver to Shawn. Shawn is done at this point in the match. He is cooked. But this match still goes on for another 10 minutes. It's insane. So Shawn's rolled into the ring by Taker after the medical staff come in and are like, hey, you good, you good. Taker just goes, no! And then throws Shawn inside the ring. Goes for the cover, but it's only able to get a 2 since, yet again, he took a little too long. He goes for the last ride, but Shawn is able to reverse it kind of into an X Factor. This one's a little bit bungled. So Shawn's in the powerbomb last ride position. He goes up, and then some point here, as they're going down, is able to move his legs around and then get the X Factor in. It looks something like this, maybe, which somehow does damage to both men. It's kind of a power bomb, kind of an X Factor. It looks kind of weird, but it does exactly what it intended to do. Shawn goes for his top rope elbow, as he does, wee. But Taker is able to get his legs up, and since his legs are hurting, that hurts Taker as well. So they're both laying on the ground, writhing in pain. So Shawn crawls over to Taker like, oh, maybe he's writhing in pain. I have a chance. Locks in the Hell's Gate. Taker gets Hell's Gate in incredibly quickly, starts pulling down on Shawn. Shawn's almost done, but he's able to flip over Hell's Gate into a pinning predicament, so Taker has to break the hold. Both men slowly get up, and then Shawn just completely out of nowhere, like they're both kind of stumbling to their feet. Boom! Sweet chin music straight to the head of Taker. Shawn's like, oh, I have a chance, but it only gets a 2. Shawn tunes up the band again, but Taker is able to count. Well, no, he didn't tune it up again. He tuned it up one time because he never tuned up the original. So, yeah, he hits the first one. Boom! Taker's down. Goes to the corner. Boom! 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 But this time, Taker is aware of what's going on and is able to counter. Shawn goes up and down for a really good last ride. This is a picture-perfect move for Taker. Because generally, most people who end up selling the last ride maneuver sell it like slightly elevated powerbomb. Maybe the height you get when you're going up for the pop-up part of Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb. But Shawn gets like this high on Taker for the bomb. Looks amazing. So Taker goes for the pin, assuming he's got the win. But shockingly, Shawn does kick out. Taker's annoyed by this. He's like, huh? He's like, all right, whatever. Both men go to the outside as Taker wants to beat him up further, and he tries to do the last ride through the table. So he gets him up again, ready for last ride, but Shawn slips behind him. Taker turns around. Sweet chin music again. Taker's down on the table. Shawn climbs to the top rope. Moonsault again, but this time instead of landing on the stomach, as he would normally do, he lands on the legs as to do damage to Taker. Table breaks. Taker's in a lot of pain, and Shawn's like, oh man, this is me in pain as well. Ugh. So Shawn's able to say, oh, I have a chance, I have a chance. Slowly gets to his feet, throws Taker in the ring, and he goes for the cover. 1, 2. Taker's just able to kick out. Meanwhile, the crowd is popping relatively loud for most of this match. It's actually pretty impressive. He goes for Sweet Chin Music again and lands it. Boom! Sweet Chin Music. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out again. And okay, he's like, He's very angry. He tunes up the band again. Boom, boom, boom. Goes for it, but Taker's able to move out of the way. Boom, get him by the throat. Choke slam straight to Shawn. Now both men are very dazed, and Taker is so dazed even that he can barely stand at this point because of how bad his legs being worked over. He's hobbles over to Shawn, picks him up somehow with this injured leg, goes for the tombstone, picks him up. Boom! Shawn's prepped for the tombstone. Now normally I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense. That's a logical finish to this match. Goes in, gets the tombstone off. Boom! Tombstone straight to Shawn. 1, 2, and Shawn kicks out. The best matches to me are the ones where even when I know the winner coming into it, as I do, I know who wins this match, I get shocked by a kick out. It happened when I watched X7, and it happened now. Incredible. So I looked at the stats for what big moves each man had taken at this point. So Undertaker has taken an ankle lock, figure 4, X Factor, and 3 Sweet Chin Musics at this point. And Shawn has taken Snake Eyes, Old School, the Ring Apron Leg Drop, 2 chokeslams, 2 tombstones, Hell's Gate, and the last ride. And he is still going with this. I do not know how. Taker takes down the straps. He's ready to lock in, get the win, and teases the finish. He's about to do his, slit the throat thing, but Shawn starts, clambering up him, climbing him like a totem pole. He's looking to the crowd, ha, 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 but Shawn slowly just, please. He doesn't even say please. He taunts Taker. He does this. Taker's like, stay down, Shawn. But Shawn slaps him across the face. Taker's mad, charges at Shawn, picks him up one more time, and the dead man goes to 18-0 with a tombstone yet again, retiring. Stupid 2018 match technically means it wasn't a retirement. Retiring Shawn Michaels. Insanely good match. Shawn has a great goodbye. He's waving to the crowd, giving them kisses. Obviously close to his hometown. He does the little kneel thing, does this one last time. It's a great experience, an insanely good match that I am putting at number 1. This match is so good to me. I really love the story. Again, when I know the winner and I'm still surprised by a kick out, that means something intense. So this match is the new number 1, and if you're unaware of the current top 5 list, it is as follows: 26, X7, 23, 24, and 14. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Well, nonetheless, leave your comments down below. I love to read them. Make sure to have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future episodes of this series, and goodbye.